Battlefield 6 is just a reskin. This is the same as 2042, just without operators. This game is boring.
Shut up! Shut up!
What is it that makes Battlefield 6 so special from all the other games? What is it that makes us feel the match and not just play it? What is it that makes us do our job as medics, engineers, scouts and assaults and pilots and tank drivers? Why does it draw us in such a unique way that makes us all think only in Battlefield? Many look at Battlefield and compare it to the previous game, Battlefield 2042, and some also compare it to Call of Duty games, more specifically the upcoming release, Black Ops 7. But is this a fair comparison? A closed-off map with 6 people on each team compared to a large-scale warfare maps with jets and helicopters and tanks and cars and an atmosphere that might actually give you PTSD? Well, yes and no. Because Battlefield 6 and Call of Duty are undoubtedly rivals and will probably be that for a long time. But it's not exactly a direct competitor. And especially in a market like gaming, where customers usually buy both products anyway, compared to, let's say, a car dealership that usually only sells one product to one customer at a time. And so that poses the question of what actually defines a win as a game studio. Is it the player's time spent in the game? The amount of money each player spends in the game? Is it overall reputation? Is it copies sold? Or is it a mix of all of it? There will always be people who will prefer Call of Duty over Battlefield no matter what games they release. And there will always be people who prefer Battlefield over Call of Duty no matter what games they release. But still, it is undeniable that Battlefield 6 has made a huge dent in the market with their incredibly successful launch of the game. Many Call of Duty players have been said to ditching their roots and joining the side of Battlefield. And OG Battlefield players seems to be celebrating this incredible game with all that they've got. But why is it so successful? How can it draw so many people in? And how do Battlefield 6 set itself apart so much from other games? Well, there is 3 big things that set Battlefield apart. And that, my fellow soldiers, is what you and I are going to go over right now. Battlefield has always, and I mean always, been known for their ability to create atmosphere. Whether that be in the form of sound design, visual design, environmental design, or story design. They know exactly how to capture the feeling of war. Buildings falling on you while your teammate screams as grenades are being thrown straight at you. Jets breaking the sound barrier as they fly right above you and all the trees start shaking like crazy. Tanks creating their own path through destruction and force, all while you are just one out of 64 soldiers on a map with 5 objectives and only one goal to focus on. Secure your objective, no matter what it takes. And playing with your mates while doing something like this will bring you closer than you have ever been to anyone, because you will literally feel like you are there in real life with them, standing your last stand against the enemy who feels exactly like you do. That is the feeling of war, as far as we gamers know it anyway. And with 2042, it seems that they kind of threw all of that knowledge out the window and forgot what made Battlefield Battlefield. And that is why the game didn't immerse players like the previous titles did. It had nothing to do with war, but only to do with how fast can we print out a cash grab. And no shade at all, but Call of Duty cannot compete with Battlefield on atmospheric level. Especially not with the emotes of people twerking or like some shit. It's like Battlefield is PUBG and Call of Duty is Fortnite. That is probably the most accurate comparison I can give you. But Battlefield 6 truly figured out how to capture this feeling again. Not by chance or by luck, and not by copying or reskinning, but by taking the best from all worlds. It seems to me that they have looked at all the previous games and figured out why that game was so good. Not to copy it, but to learn from it. What made Battlefield 3 so good? Incredible sound design made by actual sound teams that went and recorded jets and tanks and guns and everything else in the game. It sounds so real. And together with destruction and map aesthetics, Battlefield 3 was an amazing game that truly immersed you on a level that no other game had ever done before. What made Battlefield 4 so good? Better customization, vehicle mechanics, and levolution at a scale we had never seen before. What made Battlefield 1 so good? Incredible graphics, attention to detail, both from the world around us, the weapons, the vehicles, the soldiers that would scream and cry for help when they get hurt, and so many more things that I'm sure you all remember, maybe even better than me. And that is exactly what Battlefield 6 offers us, the best from all worlds. Is it perfect yet? No, not at all. There could be much more destruction, there could be better vehicles, there could be more levolution, better mechanics, but the game is 1 week old. Nothing was perfect in the beginning, but the foundations of the game was built on rocks and not sand, and that means that we can build on it as much as we want and shape it into one of the greatest games that we will remember for a long, long time. Now, this doesn't mean that Battlefield 6 is a reskin of anything, and it's not fair to say that at all. If we could never use anything we have used before, then we would have a different franchise every single game, and that won't work realistically. But if we compare that to the rival, Call of Duty Black Ops 7 hasn't even changed many icons in the HUD or gameplay aspects at all, just another font and then a double jump mechanic that we had like 6 years ago. Now that is a reskin. This brings me to my next point. Many new games tend to want to innovate on things that doesn't need innovation, or in simpler terms, fixing what isn't broken. I think Battlefield 6 has done a great job at not doing this time around, or at least mostly. Now, stuff like closed weapon classes was not broken, and they tried to fix that. And they tried to fix the server browsing, which they also shouldn't have touched. But almost everything besides from that, they kept, because some of these things are what makes up the foundation of Battlefield. Stuff like having tanks and jets and helicopters, and having them have the same type of weapons and abilities, and not introducing random other vehicles like 2042 did. Keeping the classes somewhat similar to what they've always been, with only a few minor tweaks. Support does the same, Engineer does the same, Scout does the same, and Assault does the same, mostly all around. It works, and they didn't completely tear it apart. Now, could it be better? Yes. But it could also be way, way worse, like bringing back something like operators or heroes instead of just soldiers that has different jobs. They kept the core game modes that makes the game great, without changing the entire goal of it, or forcing some other game modes on us that we don't want. Sure, they can introduce them, but we don't have to play them. And this sets Battlefield 6 apart, because many games nowadays are addicted to implementing stupid and irrelevant shit to games that nobody asked for ever. And I don't really see anything in Battlefield 6 that I think is irrelevant. Well, besides this fucking thing. But again, that can be fixed with a balancing patch, right? The foundation is there. The game is by no means perfect, and there is a lot of things that needs improvement and maybe even needs complete reworks. But the game's foundation is solid, and that is what matters the most. Because in 2 years, when the game is still only halfway through its life cycle, we won't be remembering the first 5 or 6 days playing the game with a few flaws. We will be remembering countless of hours immersed into battle with your friends who you fight to keep alive, whatever that takes. Countless arguments in the chat with brain-dead people who clearly don't agree with you. Countless rage moments because you can't live more than 10 seconds in a jet because the enemy jet has 0 social life. You won't remember the small issues. You will remember the big memories. And that is what truly sets Battlefield 6 apart from other games. The ability to create memories. And as an ending to this video, I want to prove it with a comment from one of my viewers talking about his favorite experience in a Battlefield game. So I ask you to truly try and immerse yourself into this story and maybe even close your eyes if you need to. It goes like this. My best Battlefield experience was during Battlefield Bad Company. A friend and I were holding a farm overlooking an objective with snipers. Enemy tanks were peppering us. They rolled up with 4 tanks. Crossing an open field, we asked for backup. A little kid answered the call. "Who needs a magic potion?" he shouted. My friend and I looked at each other. Magic potion? And again, "Who needs a magic potion?" We laughed and shouted, "We need a magic potion at the farm!" And we saw this kid crossing the same damn field the enemy tanks were located at. Ran through all of them, explosions all around him as they tried to kill him, and he expertly dodged them all. Mind you, we could see all of this through our scope. He finally reached us as the tanks were still shooting at us, and he dropped us a medic pack and ran off again. Who needs a magic potion? That was single-handedly the most impressive shit I've ever seen in a video game. And the kicker, we even asked him if he took his meds today. Kid answered, "Nope, my mom is at work." And a childish giggle followed. That was 15 years ago, and to this day, we still talk about the magic potion kid in Battlefield. This is what Battlefield is all about. Not the sliding 360 no-poop retardism of COD, but the against all odds helping your team towards victory. Man, thank you so much, Roger Olosenga, for this amazing story. I do truly appreciate how alive you guys are in the comments. And please, why don't we follow Roger Olosenga's footsteps and write our own Battlefield moments down below in the comments. And I'd love to read through absolutely every single one of them. Thank you all incredibly much for watching along. And if you found yourself enjoying the video or agreeing with me, then consider subscribing. We are trying to reach 40,000 subscribers by the end of this year, so I would be honored if you would be one of those subscribers. I hope I will see you all very, very soon again. See you on the battlefield, soldiers.